Okay, let's actually start standing up today. Find a comfortable stand and just move the head in a slow circle around your neck. Then change direction. See if one direction feels better than the other. And then just right ear to the right shoulder and left ear to the left shoulder a few times. And then the weird one, going forward and back, making a nice double chin and like kind of like a chicken head. And then bring the shoulders up to the ears. A few circles like that. And then just pull the shoulders to the ear and drop them a few times to feel the difference between engagement and letting go. Nice. Bring the arms in one line with the shoulders. Start circling your arms on top of your elbows, other direction. Bring your thumbs down and your knuckles next to your face, moving the shoulders together or moving the elbows together and opening the shoulders. As you do that, make sure you feel the back of the shoulder blades connecting and then the front rounding. Try not to move with the rest of your spine. And then you can do that either with the back to the wall or free in the room. But you want to bend your elbows 90 degrees. Get your back nice and straight and just move your hands towards the wall in both directions. If we would have perfect balanced shoulders, which I don't have, I would be able to touch the wall on the top and bottom. Maybe after a while you feel like the elbows are moving a bit up or down, so you can correct them. 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out to set the front and back. And then let the movement fade out. Bring the knees together and the toes. Come into a squat with the knees together, come into the toes and bend the heels down. Depending on your ankle flexibility, you have to come a little higher or lower. 3, 2, and the last one, bring the knees down, give yourself a little toe stretch. Reaching, let me turn the right arm up, left arm overhead. Now push the elbow up, give yourself a little side bend. You can wiggle or you can do it more statically, but we want to open the space between the ribs and hips. And enjoying a little tricep stretch. Same on the other side. Find the extension with the elbow first. And only go as much to the side as you still feel both of your heels connected to the sitting bones. Release. Undo the feet. Now you can sit into the top of the feet, reaching to the right knee and lifting the knee up to your own degree. Often the foot kind of turns a bit sideways when we do that. Try to keep it perpendicular and straight. And same on the other side. Lift the knee up, lift the chest. And release. Let's come into a Skandasana, or squat to the right. Use the turning of the hip to open the hip. You can go in your lunge a bit forward, you can twist over the side, but we kind of just want to move a bit from side to side and front and back. If you feel like you want to stay in any position longer, you may just get some cracks out of your hip. And then bring the feet a little wider than hip width apart, but so close that you can place your left hand under your face, reaching your right arm up. Do 5 pulses back, trying to put the shoulders on top of each other. You can bend the knees as well. Same on the other side. If it's easier, you can also use a block to have a little bit more height. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find a squat, interlace the forearms and the wrists. A few wrist circles here. If you have a block, I would say do it on a block, but if you don't, also not so bad. We'll do 5 leg lifts. So you stand on your block. You want to go 5 to the front and then 5 to the side. Make sure the standing leg is straight. Meaning if you can only lift this high with this leg straight, that's fine. But I want you to really push the foot you're standing on into the ground. And then the same on the other side. You can either place the hands on the hip to feel what the hip is doing, or already overhead if you feel like you want to also integrate the arms overhead. Nice. If I do that right, like both legs feel equally engaged, because I have to put a lot of work in the standing leg that it stays straight. It tends to have this like micro bend in the knee. And also for the other leg to lift. And then you have a block. I like to use the block to do wrist push-ups. So the thumb is not, maybe this direction, the thumb is not on the block. You bring your fingers all the way to the knuckles, and then you can sink down and push into the knuckles to lift up. If you don't have a block, again, you can do this on the ground, but here too, try to really go slow up and down. 5 to 10. I like to use the negative space to also increase the flexion in my wrist. The more flexibility we have, the more we can ground our hand. Maybe you also want to stay for a moment. And the same thing on the other side. Depending on how much weight you want, you can bring the shoulders slightly back or more forward, then the weight increases. After you've done a few of those, grab the block from the outside, or imagine you have a block, or sometimes a water bottle also works. Get the shoulders in your position and try to just straighten your arms out with the elbows straight in one line with the shoulders. So we just work the bend and the extension. You shouldn't move with the arms up and down. If you really just bend the elbows and focus on straightening, the line shouldn't move. And it's the same, for example, like in a tuck, right? If I think of my feet, then often the feet go a bit too much forward or back. But if I just think of bending my knees, then the tuck usually arrives very well in the body. Let's do with your block or without, finding a handstand position overhead, trying to find a pike position if it's comfortable, otherwise open the feet slightly. Now I want you to just find first the pulling back of the shoulder blades and then the pushing up. So if the shoulder blades would be slightly rounded forward and I push into a rounded spine. But if I make the effort to suck the shoulder blades back and then reach up and push, I also have more push and my back is more straight. 5 is enough. Let's take a moment to just walk the hands in all directions. So like this exercise to just observe if there's any tightness in my wrist. Then bring the middle fingers close or touching, and then bend the elbows to the side and extend. 3, 2, and 1. Fingers all the way out. Again, just 3, 2, and 1. Last one before we go into our hands. Bring the hands next to your knees. Try to make a fist and open them. I find it helpful also to like hold the squeeze for a moment before I release. So most of the active flexibility and mobility stuff, we want to hold the end range of motion for a bit to give our body a moment to arrive there. Then shake it out. The first thing that I want to do is doing some shoulder shrugs. You can do them free in the room if you feel ready for that. You could do them in a pike or with one leg lifted, just sinking in and extending. Any position that you want to choose. I would say 5 is good enough to just warm up the push and the shoulders. You know, often these shoulder shrugs look quite fast when you see a video of them, but think more of like elongating, slow, and feel the push and then kind of get heavy in your handstand. That would be also the way you would do it if you do it free in the room, where it's just like lengthening and stretching out and kind of just softening and sitting on your comfortable couch, but just in your handstand. Nice. Looking good, Paula. Nice. Your left leg is a bit lower. Bring the left leg a bit higher. Yeah, that was too much. Right leg a bit higher now. Yes, nice. And after you've done that, try to do a handstand of your choice, any shape that you want, just to arrive in your handstand today. Maybe it's a moving handstand, maybe it's just a straight handstand, maybe it's doing some leg shapes. Just see what helps you arrive today. Super straight. I want to try to get that feeling for the elongation in the shoulders one more time in like a puppy pose. So I like to do it on the blocks because I have a little bit higher surface, but you could also do it on the floor. The idea is to find a good handstand position in the back first, and then with the fingers flexed on the block, you want to find the shoulder blades pulling together and at the same time pushing forward. So often the shoulder blades kind of go round to the sides instead of together and then pushing out. So try to find that with a little bit of weight here in this active position. You can also see like my shoulder blades have the tendency to go down when I'm more on the outside of my hand. When I'm in the middle, it's a bit easier to find the position. When I'm too much inside, that's also hard. So maybe play also with the position of your hand to find that in your shoulders. Yeah, a bit hard on one block, I think. But yeah, maybe it's better to do it on the floor then. Nice, I like the alignment in the back. And it's really tiny. It's not like a big shoulder movement. It's just more of that feeling where you feel like the shoulder blades, when you look at the back, are not sticking out, but they are just flat. And then that allows the shoulder to find the extension. Now try to do the same thing in your handstand. I would say in the straight handstand, where you really feel which position is the one, like this would be the shoulders around it. This would be my shoulders are straightening up. Both are able to balance. I do think the one with the neutral shoulder blades is in the long run more sustainable for the shoulders. Because I think when I started handstand, I had very rounded shoulders and it was a lot heavier on my body. And now that I'm straightening this out, I can use a lot more support from my shoulders. It's not something you can fix in one session, but just create awareness for it. How can you feel that the shoulders are kind of in a position where if someone would push you from the side, they're really, how to say, yeah, they are just really locked there. Maybe it's also easier to find it in a different shape, maybe one that you feel very comfortable in, and you don't have to worry so much about the balance. Nice. Nice. Shoulders look good for everyone. Cool. Okay, let's get into an easy straddle, whichever your easy straddle is that allows you to move. We want to reach the arms up. We want to go forward and we want to go sideways 3 times, all directions. Make sure the shoulders stay glued to the ears. And as you turn over your side leg, turn first the belly button to the leg before you go down. So you can use more of the side compression. We do need that for the exercises we do today. Nice. Try to not close the shoulders. Try to really stay long. And if you don't go so low, I really don't care. But make it more about the ribs and the hips than your shoulders. Nice. Okay, let's do some straddle jumps. Either you start low, you jump up, you find your straddle, or you go all the way up and down. If you can, do 5 in a row without thinking so much. Just time them. As you land, you want to go straight back up. You could do them also with the back to the wall, knowing that the wall is there, trying to go, bring it down, go back up. Try to find the same pace for the jump, for the landing, for the bringing the legs together. Nice. Nice jump, Laura. Yes. Looks good. So the push always comes first. No matter if you jump on canes, on the floor, you really want to push the floor with your hands. The legs are the last thing that move. Like once we lose that push, we lose the connection to where our body is in space. So you want to always focus on that. The legs will come up and down. Wait a bit longer with the legs, Laura. Yes, nice. That was good. Rolling first. Yes. Okay. We'll do one thing with the wall. I don't even know if I have enough space here, but let's see. So we start in our straddle, we open to straight, and we bring it into our tuck, and then other way around. Straddle, straight, tuck. We just basically go in and out between our straight, straddle, and tuck. Same. And handstands, enter however you like. Straight, tuck, straddle, straddle, tuck. And it can be just one round, then you have a little pause, and you bring it back. But try to create that flow as I go into tuck and straddle. I'm not like going to my deepest expression, especially in the tuck. If I would bring it into a very low tuck, it would be hard to open, and I almost have to kind of arch when I straddle. So feel the compression, but then move to the next shape. Just a few in and outward circles. If you do that later with the wall, I would suggest to do that with the belly to wall, and only the toes are touching. So when we move to straddle and straight, it's only my toes touching the wall, so I can still work on the alignment. Just gotta show that for the people who watch the recording. You guys are good without the wall. I also feel like when we bend into tuck, it helps to think bend the legs instead of bending the feet. So that's kind of what we did in the beginning with the block. If I just have the angle on my elbows, I keep my straight line. And that's the same in the handstand. So an exercise that I use as a warm-up a lot to just have stability on my hands, and you can do them very fast or very slow. Nice. Even if the legs move, think of keeping the mid body nice and long. Nice. And then just a little preparation exercise for the next one. I want you to find your straddle. You can kick up and open into a straddle or a straddle jump. And then I want you to kind of fall to the side and observe when your hand gets light on both sides. So there is a moment when you imagine you're just falling, like front or back, same to the side, where this hand gets light. You can also do it in a tuck, if straddle is too easy or comfortable for you. Tuck should be a little harder. Just do one on the right and one on the left. Nice. That's it, Laura. Nice. Yes, Josie. Nice. So good. Yeah, see if you can keep the legs on top. Nice. That's it, Paula. And basically, like for the flags or the side bends or the cartwheel in or out, we have to know when that moment is, right? When is the moment where the body has to kind of block the fall? Like a one arm is a blocking the fall to the side. And a cartwheel too, we have a moment where we have to, transition in one hand. So we can use that idea to just warm up our flagging a bit. If you want to do that with the belly to the wall, I want you to be aware of that you start with the push first. As you go to the side, you feel like now the weight is increasing in one hand, and then you kind of block the outside of the wrist to bring it back. So there is a moment where you feel more weight on the outside and you want to push into that and bring your body back up. And that's the same on the ground. If you do your flaggings on the ground, started from the shoulders and kind of lift your body on top. The legs are not really moving. It's coming from the whoop, from the push, and from the hips, going side to side. What you did all beautiful now, that the hip goes to the side, and that would block the fallout motion. And try to stay in the same thinking when you try your flagging, either with the belly to the wall or free in the room. Nice, Josie. Nice. Try not to move the legs. Keep the legs steady. Nice, better. I know it's very tempting to move the legs and pretend we're going deeper, but actually the depth comes a lot more if we use the right push and use the side and know where we are in our hand. Then the body wants to go deep. Okay, so I'll give you two different levels. You can either just work on the transition going from straddle to diamond, or you can use diamond to straddle and use that to go into your one arm or your one arm shift, bring it back, go to the side, be aware of your furniture. But I want you to, before you open the legs, if you're turning your body to the side, so when the diamond, the legs are a bit lighter. So when we go to the side and we open the legs, if we are not in a good position, we're not blocking the outside of our hand, usually the legs kind of drag us out to the side and it feels like, I mean, worst case, we do a cartwheel out, but you want to block that falling motion with pushing into your outside hand. Same, I also think that is a nice thing to do going from tuck to straddle and exit through a cartwheel. If you train it with the wall, only the toes are touching. And when you open to straddle, the toes are going away from the wall. And then either you hold the balance or you come down. Let me know if you have questions. I know this is quite complex. Nice, Laura. That's it. Now your outer leg went a bit too low, but in the beginning you really had a good connection with the hand. Yes, nice, Paula. Your hand will tell you where the weight is good and distributed. And the one arm is so hard because we are blocking four corners. We are blocking the front and back and the sides. Like in two hands, we just have to do forward and back. Try it on both sides. Also, Josie, if you want, you can do it as a cartwheel exit instead of coming back to diamond. Nice. Paula, can you do one from the side? I think your legs are a bit too much on the belly side, and that's why it doesn't feel light in your one arm. Nice, Josie. Straight arms, push up. Nice, good. It's getting so much better. Yes. Fight for the top leg, Paula. When you go to the side, keep the top leg back. Yes, this was better. But on your left side, the top leg turns in and then it gets heavy on the belly. And then you might also feel more weight in the heel of your hand. Good for you to do one more before we switch the exercise. It's similar to what I said in the tuck or straddle. In the diamond, you're just straightening out the knees. There's not much more to do. The feet don't have to go anywhere. So if you have a good alignment in your diamond above your pelvis, then just straighten the legs and then they should be in a perfect straddle. Often we just overthink where the legs have to go and then we make it more complicated in our head. And that's the same for the one arm shift too. If we're in our diamond, we do the shift, we just open the legs, we just straighten the knees. We don't have to bring one leg more down, because if you imagine like later on, right, like what Anissa can do, like doing diamond and straddles in one arm, if you move the leg a bit too much down, that's a lot of heavy weight to push it back. I mean, that's just the idea. You want to always move around the same axis. Okay, looks like everyone is down. So let's do an exercise on the ground. Two different ways to do this, depending if you work on your split compression straight or if you choose the harder exercise. I explain the easier first. Before you go anywhere, try to connect to your ribs and then try to pull the leg in and let it go. Try to do that like 5 times, pulling the leg in. On the last one, you hold and you reach towards your toes. It's not here, it's reaching up to the ceiling. Like you imagine a straight line on top of your shoulders. If you want to do the twisted exercise, you also keep the compression, but then you go a bit to the side. Ideally, the hip is not moving off, so the hip wants to stay down, and you go a bit into that diagonal compression, which means like I go to the side, and at the same time, I try to push my leg back into the hip so the hip stays grounded. Try it on both sides. Also just a nice activation for the ribs and the core when you're not on your hands. Now I'm just going to explain all the levels, but you can keep doing what you're doing. And if you found in all the levels the one you want to do, you can start doing it. So the easiest version would be you find a higher surface, you lift and you try to pull the hip, the leg into the hip to find your compression and bring it back. Try to pull, work with the compression, or also on the way down, try to really land with the leg up and only on your toe. That would be the easiest one. If you want to work a bit with the sideways entry, you can start sideways and try to kick up from here, whoop, bringing your legs all the way to straight. So kick up from the side, and then you have this like little side split also that we did on the floor for a moment. Easier would be to straddle, but for the ones who want to work with the twists more in preparation of figure, you go here and you go a bit to the side and you bring it back. So the back leg wants to stay on top and over your shoulder, and the lower leg kind of pulls in and pulls you a bit to the side. And it twists you a bit because the leg is a bit sideways. Nice. So what I was saying, Laura, is the front leg is in an L shape. You did the other one. Both are fine, but usually the back leg is like, we need to understand that the back leg stays a lot more back in the figure. So now you would go to your right. If you're yeah, but the top leg was not straight anymore. Yeah, try to, yeah, maybe start in the splits. Let me think upside down. Maybe start in a straight handstand
My left leg is back. That means I'm going to the left side and the right goes to the front. And here you can also
do a shift if it feels nice. Yeah, it feels a bit weird, so I really have to cue myself in my head where I'm going. Yes, yes, yes. Nice. That's it, Paula. Good. Nice. Nice exit. I think that's the hardest part, to fall out of figures. Nice. Nice, Josie. Yes. Keep reaching the top leg high, Laura, to the ceiling. And then pull the lower leg in. Yes, that compression. It's the same compression from the forward or sideways. You really want to suck that straight leg into your pelvis. It helps for everything. Looking much better, Josie, with the legs. Maybe think of more rounding even on the way down. Like right now, at a certain point, the back gets straight. But if you go here, you can also keep the compression a bit longer. Nice. Yes, much better. Then you're also closer to your wrist. Nice correction. Yes, keep the top leg there. So that's why I also like the split exercise, because if you do your figure with like very wide legs, it's also quite hard. So the legs kind of want to be more in a V shape. Maybe that helps you also for the split, because the split is more centered to the body. Nice. So another exercise that we've done before is kicking up and just bringing one leg in the straddle and bringing it up. So one leg stays straight and one leg goes out to the side, just as like an awareness exercise, or use the sideways also to go out to the side. And try to feel that the leg that's in the straddle is kind of making you fall to the side. Oh, nice. Alignment was really good, Josie. I know it's scary when the alignment is so good and it feels really light. You were so straight. But that's like when the cartwheel is so straight, like the landing also feels very light, but it's just scary to trust it. also very good in any state of
your handstand practice is you can work from your kick up, just pulling the leg in, bringing the other leg there, and trying to use it as an exit for the pike, or finding both legs down, bring it up, and then open into a V shape, bring it down, bring it up, and the same in like a mini tuck with open legs, bring it up. That like awareness that we need in the shoulders and the hips, especially if we want to turn sideways, is very good. And you can also do that from the belly to the wall at home. Try to play with a few different ones. Like the mini V should feels the easiest for me. The tuck, I really have to focus to not round my spine so much, but think more of like kind of like a frog tuck position where the knees are quite high to bring it back up. Feel how much the legs can do when you pull them into your pelvis and how much the shoulders have to block in the back. Yeah, keep that shoulder, Laura. Very good. Yes, nice. Good. Nice, Paula. Yes. And figure is a bit different to what we talked about the one arm. The figure is kind of here in your part of your hand. So, let's see. When you push, you might also, because like first it's a one arm shift, but then it's a push that goes in here because our body is kind of twisted. And the push is first going into one arm and then pushing a lot to the inside to initiate the twist. So maybe think of over pushing the thumb down to get a little bit more twist, and it might feel a little bit lighter. I don't know if it makes sense. That's the best I can explain. Yeah, kind of that exercise that Laura is doing, like it's actually kind of like an ugly one arm shift where the shoulder is not perfectly going on top. It's going out, but then because we can't push all at once because then the shoulder is blocked because the shoulder still has to go also sideways in that screwing motion. So we have to dose the push after the shift. When the butt goes more back, we push more on the inside. Nice. There's a bit more rotation in the spine, Laura. Will make it easier. Try to rotate to your max first. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Yeah, because if you, right now you rotate more towards your belly button, but you kind of have to rotate more back and out. Yeah. Nice, Paula. Looks good. Yes, there you have the lightness. Cool, nice. Okay, before we get to tired, I want to do something also a bit sideways, but you can do it with a kick up too. You can just, I don't know how to show you this, but yeah, the idea is that we go in a big circle from the side into a straddle to the other side. Start down, lead with the leg, and go to the side. So kind of what we did in the beginning with the kick up, but now we want to go into straddle we go over to the side. You can do it more like a, do it belly to the wall. You would also use this leg, pushing and guiding you over and then getting the other one up. Same on the down. To just get the motion into your body. And you can use blocks on the side to have a little bit of height if you need the height. But I think it looks really nice if you do it a little bit like a cartwheel motion that goes through straight like puppy press side. And all of you have a good enough strength and flexibility. See how much can you reach and diagonally pull with your top leg to get that lightness that helps you to pull up. So meaning if I'm just trying to press from here, it doesn't work, but if I really go into the toes and then I'm reaching my leg out to the side, it already pulls me up. And that's a very good strength also to learn how to block the flags and the one arms from the side. Yeah, reach the top leg back, Laura. Yes, there it is. Nice. Good, very nice. You should get a cramp on your upper leg in your butt. Nice. Very nice. And if you use that upper leg butt, it kind of just unfolds there. Super nice. It's also a fun thing, I think, to try on the canes. Kind of do this side press in or on blocks. Yeah, reach up. Nice. Maybe you can come even a bit closer, Josie, to have it a bit easier. Yeah. Nice. It's also, you don't necessarily have to try it now, but I also like that as kind of like an entry that you use that side press and then immediately you go to your one arm on your other side. Like, because then we press so much to it feels like the one arm is lifted on top.
Sorry, Jules, can you do it again? Because I didn't saw you.
Sure.
The last one?
Let-
Or say
yeah.
again?
No, I'm happy to do it again. So that you use that sideways entry to go into a one arm or like a weight shift. So you go from the side, you reach, and then immediately you go to the other side and then find your balance there. It just feels for me better sometimes to have a different entry, just going from the straddle and then go to the side to kind of be lifted from top. Hello.
Hello.
We had a time change, I think. We're already doing handstands for an hour.
Oh no.
And yeah, I think you didn't know, right?
No, because it's still 7 o'clock here still.
Yeah. Still join us for a little bit if you like. But I can send you the recording after. But I can show you real quick what we're doing right now.
Okay.
I show you the wall exercise. So you start kind of sideways. You have the leg on the wall, and then you do a little jump to go to your straddle and bring it back down. Kind of like a different entry where you can just tap the floor, find your straddle, and bring it down. If you need more warm up for your wrists and shoulders, feel free to do that. Yeah, somehow I didn't think about it because the US had a time change like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And now our time just changed yesterday. Nice, Paula. Keep blocking the outside. Yes, nice. Give it one more go if you like. Otherwise, feel also free to do a few shoulder openings, just going towards puppy with straight back and grounding. Maybe you also want to stay a moment in the shoulder opening position. And stretch out your wrists, palms facing towards your knees. Especially for the next one, it's totally fine to not try it, but I want to work on bringing the hands a bit closer. Otherwise, you work on your straight handstand, but let's see, a bit lower. When I started learning this, I used the yoga block because it's not completely together yet. So here I also feel the outside, so the thumbs are connecting. And then you can try to jump or kick onto it. You can also do it with the legs together. If you want to challenge yourself more, of course, you bring at some point the hands together. But it might be also just bring the hands a little bit closer than usual on the floor if the block kind of scares you. And if you work on your straight handstand, then I would either use the back to the wall quite close and try to only move yourself away from the wall by activating the ribs and belly. And the same thing would be belly to wall, where you really pull this part of your spine to find your handstand alignment. You can also do it with just one leg. That you just pull one leg into your straight handstand. Maybe switch between right and left. Or practice your handstand free in the room with your kick up, but finding the length in the lower back. If you have questions, let me know. So I'm going to repeat one that we did in the beginning of class, just if you're tired or you just want to do leg exercises for now, standing on a block, lifting the leg to the front, and the same to the side, maintaining the standing leg very nice and straight from the side too. Like I really want to focus on a good posture where the hip, front of the hip is long. I'm not standing kind of bent. I really try to lengthen out and then lifting the leg from here and same out to the side. If you need support of the wall to hold your balance, that's also fine, but focus on a good structural alignment. Nice. Nice, Laura. Looking good. Nice. Yes, that's actually also fun. Going from not to towards one arm. Nice, Paula. Bring the legs a tiny bit higher. A little, yeah, nice. Good. Super straight line, Josie. Nice. And even if it's just a moment where we hold this like super new and straight line, that's really good. It takes a while for the body to accept that as a new position. Also try only if you're on the floor and the hands are a bit closer to walk out to your normal handstand position. If you feel good about that, or from your normal handstand, walk a bit closer. Nice. There was a time when we had to walk in circles around ourselves with one arm shifts. That's also fun to try. Nice, Laura. Nice. When you do more, actually, you don't move so much with the legs. Then you just do the shift and keep the rest of the body nice and straight. So that looked very good. Relax the head a bit more, Jordan. Yes, that was good. So you can really feel the rounding in the ribs and the spine. Yes, nice. Yes, Paula. Yes, yes, yes. Nice. Yes, nice. Super good. Sometimes you just also have to do exercises that are a bit out of the, like, only the same drills. I get really bored in my head if I would keep doing the same drills. So I like to just play around with different exercises. Okay, before we can slowly finish your last go, maybe have a moment to stretch out anything that you feel. For the conditioning today, I want you to do belly to wall handstands with the head completely in and neutral. Let you walk as close as you feel comfortable. And then only the toes are touching again, and now also the forehead and the nose. And you try to just count your breath, and whenever you had enough, because this is also quite hard to get out. So either you have to walk forward, or if you're comfortable with cartwheeling out to the side, I really want you to be aware of when you have to come down to have enough energy to come down. So if you have a wall, go all the way in and just count your breath. Start whenever you want, you're just counting your own breath. Make sure especially that the ribs are pulling away from the wall. Try not to lean on the wall, try to almost float off the wall. Nice. Push a bit more out of your right shoulder, Josie. Nice. Yeah, relax the head, relax the head. Yeah. Bring the belly button into the spine. Nice. Belly button into the spine. Find the weight in the center of your hands. Nice. Good. Yes, nice. Great. So also when you do these belly to wall exercises, just try to put a picture in your head of the shape, like how it feels. Nice, Jordan. Yes, good. Yes. Feel the ribs pulling back and away from the wall and keep the feet on the wall. Yes. Nice. Much better. And so continue what you're doing or join me for some knee extension exercise. If you have blocks, it's really helpful for me to have the blocks underneath. So I really want to go to the full extension. So I feel the muscles alongside of my knee turning on. And you can either do one at a time or you can do both legs at a time. Hold the squeeze when you're all the way up before you let go. You don't really have to bend to come down. I think if you just release the squeeze of the knee, the legs come just down. So either do 5 with both legs or 5 on each leg. You can also, with the extension, lift your butt and bring it back down. You want more weight. When you lift the butt, the weight really has to go straight down into the blocks. But often in our handstand, we have this like micro bend in our knees, and it doesn't help us to actually find a good alignment. The body is much more able to integrate and stretch out if we really use all the little support muscles. And then after you've done your repetitions here, find either just a lunge or a half split, or if that's something you're working on, like with or without the support, to work on your front split. But in your front split, instead of leaning forward, try to get the shoulders over the hips. So that would be our front split alignment in handstand. If we're here, it's really hard to hold. So rather have 5 blocks underneath you, I don't really care, but have the handstand alignment in your split. I also like to push onto my thighs so I keep the length and not sink into my lower back, to almost like push into the knees to lift out of the floor. Let's take 3 to 5 breaths. And then do the same on the other side. Like feeling the length of the body. And the feet reaching out, the neck, the spine. If you have blocks, either straighten the arms out to the front and try to drop your chest. What I really like in the end of my handstand practice is actually bringing the elbows down to get also more stretch in my armpits. Still no arch in the lower spine. Make this about the shoulders. Drop the neck, pull the navel into the spine to maintain a straight line. And as slow as you came into it, come out of it. Connect the back of the wrists. Do a few wrist circles here.